Mr. Aghi, we've already missed the fall deadline and now we're nearing the end of December. Do you really feel that the deal is in sight right now? Is it close to us?
Well, you have to understand, Parikshit, that the process has changed in Washington, D.C. as far as who makes the decision. And what we are seeing is that every key decision goes to the president, and then he decides how to take this forward. In the U.S.-India trade deal perspective, we have seen multiple times the cabinet rank secretaries have recommended a deal with India, but it has been pushed back or the goalpost has moved in a different direction. So at the moment, as our understanding goes, there is a recommendation from the USTR, from the Commerce Secretary and others that this is the best deal India has put forward, and it's time to move forward. And I think everybody is waiting for the president to take a call so we can close the chapter here.
Right. Now, how do you read Jamieson Greer's testimony to the Senate Appropriations Committee? He was responding to a question where he said that, yes, we have been trying to get access to the Indian agriculture and dairy market. India has been a tough nut to crack when it comes to certain row crops. But at the same time, India has been forward-leaning. They've given us one of the best offers we've ever got as a country, and they remain a viable alternative for the U.S. economy. Do you feel that even in this final stretch, the U.S. is now pushing for access to India's agriculture market? Because many believe here that what Donald Trump said with regard to additional tariffs on rice, and now this statement by Jamieson Greer may put a bit of a spanner in the works.
Well, every nation is going to drive a treaty which favors them. In the case of U.S., the focus is to get access to the Indian agriculture market is vis-a-vis what's happening with China. China is the biggest buyer of India's soybean and corn. And that has been a tough negotiation there, and Chinese just agreed to buy it. So they're looking for alternate market. From India's perspective, you have to understand that that market is closed. It's a red line for India because you have almost 50% of the labor force working in the agriculture market, generating approximately 15% of GDP. So it is in the interest of Indian government to protect the interest of the farmers, to protect the local agriculture market. And you have to understand agriculture is also national security. So you can't basically let a aspect of economy exposed to issues which could have an impact not only just on inflation, but on national security of the country. So I think the government in India is taking a position that that's a red line, and we will not move from that perspective.
Right. I would also like to ask you that from the industry, from the U.S. industry, clearly there is, because of the tariffs, there has been an impact on India's exports to the U.S. But from the point of view of an industry chamber, what's your hope from the trade negotiations and the average tariff rate that we should arrive at?
Well, when you look at the exports from India to the U.S. On the tariff category, yes, they are down. We looked at the data, but also the non-tariff category, they're also down. So that shows one is that the U.S. economy is basically, or the consumer is spending less. They are feeling the impact of tariff. We can see that in grocery stores. We can see that in regular stores. The costs have gone up. And that issue of affordability is coming into the politics of the United States. When you look at one of the main reasons Mamdani won in the city of New York was on the issue of affordability. And so I think that's where you look at the president now going to Pennsylvania tomorrow for a rally to talk about affordability. So I think tariffs are impacting the consumer itself. So from that perspective, I would say that the slowdown is going to impact not only just India, but rest of the world, because U.S. will import less and less itself.
Right. I would also like to ask you that going forward, how will the movement of skilled professionals from India to the US also be impacted, Mr. Aghi? Because, you know, The US State Department has now put out an advisory saying that we earlier were conducting an online presence review of all students and exchange visa applicants in the F, M and J non-immigrant classifications. Beginning December 15, we are expanding online presence review to all specialty, occupation, temporary worker, H-1B visa applications and their dependents in the H4 case. In every case, we will take the time necessary to ensure an applicant does not pose a risk to the safety and security of the US. How do you think this is going to have a spiraling effect on visa applicants?
Well, you have to understand that every nation would like to protect its borders. And, in the case of skilled professionals, especially in H-1B, we have seen certain cases of abuse happening. And the whole effort is to basically avoid that abuse. You have to understand that we have a shortage of skilled professionals in U.S. U.S. needs to basically import a large number of skilled professionals in every category. And these skilled professionals are contributing to the local economy. If you look at 60% of the AI startups today have some kind of an Indian component. Almost 75% of the startups in the US will have some kind of a Indian component. So I think you can't basically say, hey, you don't need skilled workers, but I think you need skilled workers who can contribute. And the whole process is to avoid the gaming of the system or the abuse of the system itself.
Right. My final question to you, Mr. Aghi, and it's coming back to the delegation of Rick Switzer and Brendan Lynch, who are here right now. The Ministry of External Affairs, when asked about this, called this a familiarization visit. Their sense was that Rick Switzer has been recently appointed. He's coming to meet people. The expectations from this visit seem to be low. What really are they seeking to achieve this time around?
Well, obviously, you have basically newly appointed leadership within the government in the U.S. They are coming to learn, educate themselves, and give feedback. But I have to come back to your first question as to how will this impact the trade deal? You have to understand, you have one person who will make a decision. Both the government of India, its diplomatic corps, its trade negotiators have put the best foot forward, giving one of the best deals to the U.S. And it's not just about tariff. I think it's also about politics, global geopolitics also. So from that perspective, I think we can keep on fine-tuning the trade deal, but until the president takes a call, nothing is going to move forward. And we're hoping that we're able to convince the president to close the chapter and move forward, because the relationship between India and the U.S. is not just about trade deal. It's much bigger, much broader. And I think we need to pay attention to the other aspect of the relationship, the geopolitics, the technology, and people to people itself. So I would say that hopefully we expect the trade deal to close in the near future and look forward to a very strong relationship between India and the U.S.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Aghi, for joining us on the program, making it also very clear and helping our viewers understand that the work on the trade deal is now done. And perhaps the answer to it is now what happens in the White House, whether Donald Trump signs on the dotted line or not in the days to come. Of course, the word is that the deal has gone to him several times in the past, as you've also said on Global Lens earlier. Thank you once again for being with us.